Hello again, Team Third Year Greek. Just as with the previous set text video, I'm now going to go through Alexander, Homer and Fame. For this text again, I will highlight the Greek word and read out the corresponding English translation. And where necessary, I will explain who the different characters are or any grammar or context that you may need. So, we begin. Alexander, when he was still a child. Now, just to explain for that bit, first of all, I don't know why my epsilon has turned into a division sign, but that word there is eti, meaning still. And own is the present participle of the verb to be. So it's literally Alexander being still a child, but we've polished up our translation to Alexander when he was still a child. He would often read the Iliad. You all should know that the Iliad is one of the epics written by Homer about the Trojan War. And then this phrase, ein auto, is a dative of possession, a possessive dative. Literally, there was for him the nickname. So we've translated that as, and he had the nickname Achilles. And then we get a second possessive dative. There was for his teacher, the nickname. So we've translated that as, and his teacher had the nickname Chiron. Now, you should know that Chiron was the tutor of Achilles and that he was a centaur. And a centaur is a mythological creature that was half horse and half man, usually known for being very wild and ferocious, but Chiron was an unusual centaur because he was very wise and a very good teacher and tutor, and he tutored Achilles. So that's explained in the next line, because the centaur educated Achilles. So that whole bit just means that Alexander, when he was a child, he loved reading Homer, he loved reading the Iliad, he read it often, and because of who he was and his nature, he had the nickname Achilles. And because he had the nickname Achilles, his teacher had the nickname of Achilles' teacher, which is Chiron. So that's what that whole first bit means. And when he was king and general, Alexander always had the Iliad with his dagger under his pillow. And having routed the Persians in battle, he took many prizes, and a certain chest of Darius that was valuable. And he was guarding the Iliad in the chest. And once, when a messenger ran in, excited, just to be clear, the tis is going with the angelos, a messenger, a certain messenger. So I'll say that again. And once, when a messenger ran in, excited, Alexander said to him, deity means why. So why are you so excited? Is Homer alive again? For he was envious of Achilles because Homer sang about him. So what that bit means is that a messenger's run in, really excited one day, and Alexander can only assume that the only reason to be so excited would be for Homer to be alive again, because that would mean that he could write about Alexander the way that he had written about Achilles and celebrate and immortalize his life in the same way. And a certain bad poet once said to Alexander, I will write a poem about you, like Homer did about Achilles. So Homer isn't alive again, so he can't write a poem about Alexander, but then this bad poet offers to write a poem about Alexander, but he's not a very good poet, so Alexander is not interested in being immortalized in the written word by this bad poet. And so it says, but Alexander replied, I would rather be, so this is this bit here means I would rather, and this is be, I would rather be Thersites in the Iliad than, this word means than, Agamemnon in your poem. And what that means is this guy Thersites is a ridiculous and despicable common soldier in the Iliad, whereas Agamemnon was the supreme commander of the Greek forces in the Iliad. And what Alexander is saying is that he doesn't want to be written by this bad poet into his poetry. He would rather be a common, ridiculous and despicable character in Homer's Iliad than be immortalized as the supreme commander of all the Greek forces in a poem written by this bad poet. Callisthenes, a certain historian, great word, logographos, writing about Alexander, said, the glory of Alexander is in me. However, many were writing about Alexander, both then and later. And then we get to the final strange part of the story. And they say that sailors sometimes hear a certain strange voice saying, where is Alexander the Great? And they reply, Alexander is alive and reigning. So that's the second set text. That's what each of the words mean and how it's all put together. Hopefully you found these resources useful. Good luck with your revision.